Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Duncan, I'm an editor, and I make commentary videos about things I find important. Today I want to talk to you guys about humor. Now, as a kid, I would rely on humor in order to make friends. I was not a cool kid, but I was a funny kid. I would spend every day just trying to make people laugh, and when it worked, I felt great. It was what made me feel confident, and helped me feel liked by all the other kids. I was known by a lot of the other students as the funny kid. And part of what helped that is because my humor was always based around something that happened, or I was the target of the joke. It was never directed at other people. I never attacked anybody, and I never made fun of anybody, because I don't believe in punching down. My goal is to make everybody laugh, and when somebody is the butt of a joke, they're not involved in the joke. Believe it or not, people usually don't like you if you're making fun of them. Keep that in mind, because that is going to be relevant later in this video. The reason I am talking about humor so much is because the topic I want to talk about today involves two internet personalities who pride themselves on their edgy humor. Now, edgy humor or dark humor is a lot different than the type of humor that I prefer. Like I mentioned, I think humor works best when it has everybody involved, and edgy humor usually involves someone being the butt of a joke. In fact, edgy humor is usually misinterpreted as bullying because people often think they need to rely on racism or sexism or any form of grouping people as targets. As you can probably tell by the thumbnail of my video, the two internet creators we are going to be talking about today are Leafy and Keemstar. If you're a long-term fan of my content, you'll probably remember that my third commentary video ever actually involved Keemstar. And while I did try to remain neutral back then, I can firmly plant my feet down now and tell you that I don't like Keemstar. You can quote me on that. And believe me, we'll get into Keemstar. But right now, let's start with Leafy. Everyone in the YouTube commentary community is at least a little bit familiar with Leafy. His YouTube channel, Leafy is Here, was the catalyst in gaming commentary. Leafy was not in the business of helpful commentary. In fact, his most popular series was about cringy kids and making fun of little kids on the internet. He would show footage of these young people embarrassing themselves on the internet, and then he would talk about how cringy it was, and then he would tell them, "You're not funny, go kill yourself." You know, kind of the lowest form of edgy humor. Remember earlier in the video when I said people don't like you when you're making fun of them? That's true, but there is another side to that. Whenever kids would watch Leafy's videos making fun of other kids, it would create a barrier. These kids don't want to be associated with the cringy kids that Leafy is talking about, so they would side with Leafy. So by making fun of cringy kids, Leafy's audience became primarily other kids. It was a total us versus them mentality, but with kids online. It's really interesting to think about. And I do want to note that not all edgy humor is bad. There are types of dark humor and black comedy that work and are proven to be effective. But Leafy's version of edgy humor, the whole go back to the kitchen, pronouns in bio, go kill yourself type of humor, it doesn't do anything except alienate people and create sides. And the millions of kids that were watching Leafy's videos were being trained by his sense of comedy into thinking that this sort of dynamic was okay. And you might be thinking, that's awful that he would do that. Oh my god, what is Leafy doing these days? Rest assured, Leafy got yoinked off the platform a few months ago. Do you remember the whole Pokimane scandal a few months ago? Most commentary channels like myself made like one video about it. Leafy made 13. And not all of those 13 videos were about Pokimane, but they had her in the thumbnail or the title, and he mentions her. And yes, it was more of his edgy humor, talking about what a fucking bitch she was and how evil she was and a bunch of like weird, gross shit. So the YouTube staff sees that Leafy has uploaded 13 videos on one person, and they say, yeah, that is a direct violation of the whole bullying and harassment agreement. So the YouTube staff gave him 1 strike for every video he made. Leafy got 13 strikes at once, and his channel was deleted. I don't know if I always agree in deplatforming as a practice, but I will admit to you guys, it was really nice seeing a YouTube without Leafy. As someone who is trying to make commentary videos that doesn't rely on edgy humor, I had always thought that Leafy had been giving people like me a bad name for years. After his deplatforming on YouTube, Leafy complained on Twitter for a little while, and then he announced that he would be moving to Twitch. And I want you to guess how long that lasted. One of Leafy's first streams was an interview with Keemstar, who I promise we'll get to in a sec. In the interview, Leafy talked about how he went to a Black Lives Matter protest with a hidden gun.
I'm not that frail, and on top of that, dude, I fucking own guns and shit. Like, I literally went there with a fucking gun in a holster. I don't know if I can say this out loud, but like, I don't have a concealed weapons permit, but I don't really give a shit, dude. I have a gun.
And when Keem asked him more about it, Leafy said that he was secretly hoping that something would happen so he would get to use the gun on the protesters.
I mean, in truth, I don't know if this can even go on Storyfire, but I just want one day in my life for someone to give me an excuse to shoot them. Is that an extreme opinion?
And Twitch was like, no. And they shut him down. And then Leafy whining about it on Twitter again just created more of a debate around deplatforming and edgy humor. My personal take is that Leafy wishing he could shoot a Black Lives Matter protester, whether it was a real event or not, is not a funny joke. I don't really see how people can defend that. Secretly hoping to kill somebody in a fight, it's pretty bad. So that's Leafy. You can still find him on some corners of the internet, but for the most part, he's been taken down off of his biggest platforms, save for Twitter. But thankfully, Leafy is somewhat fading into irrelevancy. Keemstar, on the other hand, is a different monster. Keemstar runs the YouTube channel Drama Alert, and like the name suggests, it's a near-daily current events drama cycle channel. It covers trending topics, celebrity fights, anything kind of going on in the entertainment industry. And before you say, well, Duncan, that sort of sounds like what you do. First of all, ouch. There is a difference between drama channels and commentary channels. One's not better than the other, but there is a difference. Drama channels usually give you a summarization of everything. They enjoy giving you stats, facts, statistics. Their goal is to give you the information about something, and that's it. Commentary channels, at least the kind that I'm trying to do, work by selecting specific topics that they think they can talk about. And in all of my videos, I do my best to give you my opinion, as well as a main takeaway to leave the video with. Keemstar is a drama channel, and arguably the worst kind. When he's not yelling about celebrities, he is actively on Twitter trying to cause drama that he can report on. He's known for being one of the biggest shit starters on Twitter. He's crowned himself the Duke of Internet drama, so whenever anything goes on, he thinks it's in his own right to involve himself. So that brings us to today. Recently, Keemstar made an edgy joke on Twitter that went way too far. My YouTube friend Leah101 has already made a video covering this topic, and I highly recommend it. If you enjoy my channel, you'd enjoy her stuff too. She makes commentary videos like me, but she's Welsh, so they're just automatically better. But I'll do my best to try and summarize what happened. Keemstar makes an offensive joke on Twitter, as he does, And a small Twitter user in the response just says, "Do you realize you're not funny?" Keem then went to their profile, saw Ariana Grande in their tweets, saw that the account was managed from Manchester, and then responded to them saying, "It's too bad you missed the Ariana Grande concert when she was in town. Wish you could have made it." And if you're unaware, this is a reference to the terrorist attack that happened at an Ariana Grande concert in Manchester. You know, the bombing that killed around 20 people. That's some fucking depraved shit. That's just an awful thing to say to somebody. Keemstar did delete the tweet, but the Twitter user still can see that response in their replies. And even though he did delete the tweet, he was not fast enough, and people did get a screenshot of it. Thankfully, most people have seen this image and are condemning Keem and telling him that he went too far and that this isn't a funny joke to say. And don't worry, there are plenty of people defending what Keem did. Most of Keem's fanbase, much like Leafy's, think that edgy humor like telling people to go kill themselves is okay. And these people were defending Keemstar in the debate around this, saying, "Oh, they're just words. It was just a joke. And stop taking everything so seriously." Keemstar sent a death threat. You can argue that this wasn't a death threat, but the intent behind it and the implications around it make this a wish of harm. The wish you could have made it heavily implies that he wanted this person to be a victim of this attack. Plus, he doesn't know if this person was at that concert or not. There were thousands of people at that concert when that attack happened. This person could have been there. Keem didn't know that, but he made this threat anyway. Keemstar started retweeting the people defending him, which only made people defend him more because they wanted to get retweeted by Keemstar. This happened very recently, so I have not seen any huge channels cover this story, and part of me thinks they won't. Because at the end of the day, this is just what people like Keemstar and Leafy do. They're not going to get in any trouble for it, and they're going to keep doing it in the future. So, do I think Keemstar should be deplatformed? No. And the reason I say no is because I don't think deplatforming changes people's minds. When Leafy was deplatformed off of YouTube and Twitch, he didn't say, "Oh, well, maybe I did cross the line. Maybe it was right for me to be checked." No, he does not think that. Instead, he thinks that the system is out to get him and people like him. And so the people who flock to his remaining platforms are being fed this story of like, YouTube can't handle me, or like, I'm too edgy for Twitch. And it ends up making him a martyr. And the people see him as this edgelord who's like so advanced that social media can't contain him. When in reality, he's just a dick. He's a dick who enjoys making fun of children. And as much as I hated the Leafy Is Here YouTube channel, I think taking away those platforms has made him stronger on his remaining platforms. So no, I don't think the same thing should happen to Keemstar. It would be cool if YouTube cut him off of the preferred recommendations like they did with Logan Paul after his whole forest whoopsie. That way Keemstar would get less views and maybe try something different in order to retain his relevancy. I don't know if getting less attention would make Keem rebrand or not. Believe it or not, I don't have all the answers. I don't know what the right move is here. I guess what I'm trying to say is humor, like edgy humor, dark humor, creates a divide. And at the end of the day, I don't think we need to be divided any more than we already are. I know people love edgy and dark humor, and I do think there is a way to have it that doesn't hurt anybody. But maybe we tone down on the version of edgy humor that wishes people death. Alright, that is it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Please like this video and subscribe so YouTube thinks that I'm doing a good job. I love you all. Have an amazing day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Keep doing what you're doing because you're awesome. Okay, bye. Love you.